I want to discuss today is choosing coins to LP. So I'd love to have you share your experience on that and how you navigate the meta space and choose which ones you want to LP. And then we'll kind of just do like an open discussion.
Yeah, okay. So, hello everyone. My name is Yusuf. 19 years old and all that stuff. Work at Photon and also spend a lot of time as a mod and as an LP Army mod and instructor within the Meteor community. So, honestly, you know, we are a wide range of different people in crypto, right? Like some people literally do it as their full-time thing. Others have like something they study outside of crypto. Others have like a full-time job outside of crypto and all that. For me, like I study right now, so I do not have a lot of time to actually dig into the trenches. Although I would love to, but I just don't have time for it. So the way that I LP, the way that I've found like the most efficient to me in regards to helping and making money has literally been just to use services like HawkFi or Looker Studio, and then they will just display me the most or the best performing pools, and I'll literally just go into those pools and like just make some positions there and hopefully make some money out of it.
How are you using Hawkfire, Yusuf? Are you using it to just automate some of your kind of like lower risk positions?
No, no, absolutely not. I'm
Really?
like the thing is, no, no, it displays like the best performing pools. That's why I
Ah,
use it
gotcha.
actually. Yeah.
So
So
yeah, like go ahead.
yeah, like literally that was just
Uh,
what I was about to say. Yeah.
Well, yeah, so like that's like you've got Looker Studio, we got Hawkfire, we also have Lex's tool.
Yeah.
These are all really great tools that kind of aggregators of high volume pools. And they're also what they're gonna do is they're gonna show you which pools are doing the highest fee percentage, which is a really great way to start. In addition to that, some of the things that I like to do, and I guess I'll show it on my screen while we're going through it, but um I like using Deck Screener. And my kind of like standard practice is to just go here on Deck Screener. And I like pulling up the chart from the last hour and then just filtering by volume. And so for me, and everyone has like different risk thresholds, but recently what I've been doing is I've kind of been avoiding anything under like 1 or 2 million total market cap. um you just have so much risk in those coins because like if we look at this list, like let's just like pull up a few of these. This one is probably a rug. Anything like under 1 million, there's a really high chance of it being a rug, and so you're just exposing yourself to a lot of risk. Yeah, like this, I mean, obviously this could have another movement, but it's probably a rug. And so for me, like I'm getting to the point in my like portfolio management where I don't want to be exposing myself to really, really high risk. I think the net upside potential of like just holding Soul, we still have, and I want to hear your opinion about this, Yusuf, but I think
Mm.
we have like 100% gain at least on Solana itself in the rest of this like bull market. Um,
Okay.
but even if it's only like a 50% gain or it's a 400% gain, the upside potential is so much that you really want to be protecting your assets right now because by doing nothing, you're going to generate profit. And so for me, what that's done is it's translated my strategies from like going after like really, really high risk coins with high reward to going after like a 10 to 20% gain a day. And
Yeah.
sometimes I'll knock out like a 50%er, but like I really want to be going for consistency over high risk right now. What do you think, Yusuf?
So in regards to like price action over the next few months and bull run and all that, I actually think there's a possibility. Like I agree on Solana going to 500. I think that's very reasonable. Like very reasonable. To be honest, I think there's a possibility of it even like going to 1K or approaching 1K.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it depends on how long this bull run will last, right? But say it lasts for like half a year, right? So that's like until or maybe just a little more of a half a year. Okay, so say it lasts until like August or September next year. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Soul that like hit 1K, to be honest. Like I really wouldn't be surprised because I mean, it's not even that much when you think about it. Like we've just started. It's just a 4x from here.
Sol 1K is like essentially when we would match the market cap of ETH if ETH doesn't appreciate at all. And you've got to assume that ETH is going to appreciate some. And I
Yeah,
also like I think that Sol definitely flips ETH eventually. I can't see how it doesn't, given like the performance metrics on Sol beat Ethereum in every category. And so
exactly. Yeah.
obviously ETH was the first mover, but like we're now like entering into a space where people are focusing like just like the ease of access with Sol and the transaction fees make it so much more attractive.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. And also just to top on that discussion about bull run and all that, I want to tell you guys some piece of advice, okay? If any of you manage to make 100K, like I think everyone should have like a goal, right? For everyone that's new to crypto, okay? Say they have like 10K portfolio, have like set a goal of like maybe making a 10x during this bull run, right? That could be through DLMMing, through buying meme coins and all that stuff. Um, Set a goal. If you make 100K, I swear to God, like that is literally what you need. Like that's all you need to set your life for the next many years. Because if you can just buy the dips, right? Like we have these occurring beers like happening every 3 years, right? If you literally just buy Bitcoin every 3 years, like on that dip, on that like ultimate dip that happens every 3 years, you can easily make a 3x from having bought that dip until the next bull run. Maybe even more. Like maybe you can make a 5x or something, and that's 500K. If you subtract 100K from it, that's 400K. That's literally like a full-time salary over 3 years.
yeah.
That's amazing to think about.
Also, when you start incorporating DeFi strategies, like I know that this like mega activity in the meme space isn't going to go on forever. And eventually we're going to return to kind of like normal price action. And even in the most like boring of markets, you can earn like 30 to 50% APR on like a jupe sold position. And so like my strategy is ride up the market until I hit my price targets and then exit and then wait essentially 12 to 16 months, re-enter and then put most of my portfolio into a low risk DeFi application and then just have that as my salary for life.
Yeah.
Um
To be
and so like
honest, I just
good.
you just go ahead and finish what you
Well,
were
yeah,
going
so
to
like
say.
if you get to that like 100K mark, that's enough to live off of forever. And it's such an insane thing to say, but if you manage that well, you can cover your expenses for the rest of your life with that amount of money in most places in the world.
Yeah, I like that. I agree on. Really, I do. But I just wanted to mention one thing. Like, I've heard stories, right? I'm not saying it's gonna happen to any of us, but I've literally heard stories, right, where people they made like 200K from the last bull, right, and then they put that money into some like application, right, and they lost it all. I just want to
Bro,
tell you guys, be cautious, right? Don't put all
yeah,
your money into like one app, like really don't do it because things can happen that no one had expected, right? And then
yeah.
you will literally start from zero again, and you don't want to do that, bro. Like,
Bro, last bull market, I bought Hex. I bought like $10,000 worth of Hex at like the all-time high. And I locked it. I have it locked for 5 years and 9 years.
oh
That's
my
like,
God, bro.
yeah, I mean, like, that's kind of like one of my like embarrassing, humble moments. But hey, that's
Yeah,
like that taught me like I will never lock or stake a coin for I don't even do any like lock staking anymore. But if I was to do it, like I think maybe I would do 28 days. But like anything more than that, I'm like, no way, dude, no chance.
I
There's
agree.
just
I agree.
the downside is like so high. Um Yusuf, let's take a look at
Absolutely.
this coin. Have you seen this crazy ticker?
Okay, so to be honest, I woke up today, right? And I closed
Yeah.
my position off on Fur, right? And I literally saw this one next to Fur because it was also making like a lot of
Yeah.
volume. But I didn't actually buy it. But the thing is, I was looking at the logo, right? And it seems like there's some unique thing over it because it constantly like changes color on its ticker.
Mm. So
Not on the ticker, but on the logo of it, which is quite unique, I think.
I think anything where you have like kind of like a unique metal like this is interesting. And that's not to say that like I want to buy this coin for 6 months, but I'm happy to LP it right now while it's getting so much volume. So this is the Cyrax. I've like hyped this up a bunch. It's a free tool. We can see that the dev, or not necessarily the dev, but the whole bonding curve was sniped right off the bat. Um, I wish if someone out there has more or better tools that will help you determine early buys, and I guess we should probably just go to Photon or something like this. But like also I want to go to 8 Pro because I actually have been I got people were like really hyping up 8 Pro as a really good tool. Um
Yeah, April is it's a pretty nice tool. Yeah.
the main thing for me is I want to get better information about early buys and insider buys, and Deck Screener doesn't do an adequate job of that.
Yeah,
Uh,
Photon does it actually. Photon has like
yeah,
a whole like you have like a holder tab and where you can see all the holders and see whether if they were an insider. And then we have some rules for what for how we categorize an insider to be, right? But it's very useful actually for trading newly launched or pump funds. Uh,
will dev buy and sells? Will those automatically populate
yeah, like
on Photon?
you can see it on the chart actually. You can if you yeah you can like on the top of the chart, right? You can see
Oh my
yeah.
god, look at bro, what a fucking cope. I'm sorry, Dev. I gotta laugh at this though. He bought 48 million, $326. He sold it for $2 a profit. Oh my god, dude.
Dude,
oh
why would he do
my
that? No, no, no. Like, okay, so
oh my god.
it could be that he bought from like some token from the insider wallets that he probably
I don't know,
used.
dude.
I mean, it could be. We don't know. Yeah.
I want to see. Oh my god. Does it show what this would be worth? I don't have 48 million. I wish. oh my god, dude. I feel so sorry for that
Bro,
guy.
that's like
He just
2K
gave
sold.
he just gave away $1 million, I think.
Nah, not a million, bro. Like, I think it's two.
You want
It should
to
be around
bet?
2K sold. Like 400K or something.
half a million. Yeah, so you're right. You
Oh,
said 2,300
yeah.
sold. Gave away $500,000.
That's like
Man.
just wait. No, no. It's worth 2 million. But the price impact is like
Oh
1.5
yeah.
million.
Holy shit. Yeah, 1.8 million. Oh
Bro,
my gosh, dude.
that's 70%, bro. Just imagine if you saw that on the chart. That'd be like that'd give me nightmares.
Yeah,
Seriously.
everyone, let's take a moment of silence. Dear Dev, I want to apologize on your behalf for the biggest fumble of your lifetime. Next time, keep a moon bag.
Exactly. Keep like 1%, bro. Like especially like when you know you've made something unique like
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah, it's such a cool ticker too. So
Yeah.
Yusuf, I would LP this. I would do a bid ask, probably going from here down to this support area down here. What do you think?
I think that's very reasonable. To be honest, like it depends on the bin step that you're going to choose, right? But if you're going to choose that wide of a range, I think it's too wide to be honest for like a 100 bin step pool. If
Oh,
it's
yeah.
yeah, like I would probably size it down a bit, like in terms of the range. If you're going with a 100 bin step pool.
So like I think there's two different like good plays to do here. The first one is going something like this and trying to catch the smaller movement.
Exactly,
And
bro. Make two
yeah,
different positions. That's
I'm
literally
open to it.
Yeah, that's actually very smart, right? Because in case that it actually bounces off of that support area, you're going to make good gains off
It
of that,
will.
right? And then you can
Well,
make another position, right? Like with more of your capital from that support area all the way down to the first mentioned one.
yeah. I I agree with you. The reason that when I initially proposed this is because like I have been, bro, I think it's because I'm drinking too much coffee, but my stress levels have been way up recently and I've been fatigued. I also am like grinding like very hard in the trenches, so to speak. And so I'm like definitely like a little like overworked right now. But I've been trying to decrease the risk potential in my positions to help mitigate excessive stress. Um,
Yeah.
so this is an LP that I had going a little while ago, and I'm just gonna pull some. Oh, it's going really well. I'm gonna pull a little bit of liquidity from here and just put it into this other position. So yeah, this is like for like anyone who's like trying to figure out how to LP better. This is this is all you need. I do like 20% spot, 80% bid ask, and I just like go to sleep and come back the next day
I
like,
mean
oh cool, more
that
money.
that, that that's like that's like literally the safest way to print money. Like
Yeah.
absolutely. I couldn't agree more, man. Like literally speaking.
And check it out. So like you're literally mathematically, you're almost guaranteed profit as long as you choose your coins wisely. So if we look at it, we're doing 63% per day in fee generation. And then I remember someone a while ago, they were posting a chart about the IL of a position as it progresses through your range. And I think, and Yusuf, like I would love to have you actually crunch the numbers on this. But I think let's say we move all the way down here because of our bid ask formation, I think we're at like a 30 to 40% IL on our total capital if we were to come all the way down here. And so if we can choose a coin that gives us 24 hours of range, then assuming like everything else is the same, this 60% or so of fee generation is going to offset our 40% IL. And so there
Yeah.
are like caveats to that because the coins that we're getting these are going to decrease in value as well. So this 60% might translate into like 40%. But like this is like the worst case scenario that you just go straight down and you don't get like any rebound. But even so, like if you're choosing pools that are like mid caps from like 10 to 100 million where you can earn like 50 to 100% a day in your 24-hour fee, then you're almost guaranteed to close that in profit as long as you can stay in range for 24 hours. um
Mm.
and so that's like it's like I I feel bad for the people who are like in the trenches trying to like find 10x's or 100x's and they're like fucking YOLOing into every pump fund coin trying to get gains or like you can just do this every day and
I mean,
compound
I'll
your
be
gain.
honest with you, bro. Like LPing is for normies, right? Pump funds are for KOLs, man. I swear to God, like literally, if you're going to like if you're just a normie that really doesn't like have much influence, right? LPing is literally for you. Like you can literally without having like without pumping shit and all that, you can literally make money.
Yeah, you can make really good money.
Yeah.
I want to start a new marketing campaign where we set up like a jupe soul position and we compare it to the S&P 500 in terms of its overall gains.
Yeah.
Um,
That'd be quite interesting. Also, actually, just a note, right? For newly launched pairs, like I think we should perhaps study fur actually,
sure.
from yesterday if you'd like to. We could also LP this coin first that you're going to LP.
Yeah, let me set this up first and then we
Yeah.
will take a look at for bro. I know earlier we were talking about how we need to be grateful and we need to focus on oh Yusuf, what do you think? 200 or 2% or 5%?
So it depends on like you do want to make two positions or just one?
I'm just gonna do one right now and then close after a movement. and
Yeah,
create a
okay.
secondary position.
If you want to do one position, then you can like just do what you want. Just choose what you, or like whatever you want to choose.
I'm still a little grumpy that I closed my freaking fur position at a loss.
Bro,
Uh,
like we like essentially just think about it. Like if you're going to think that way,
no, I'm just venting, dude. I'm just venting. I'm not actually that upset about it because like I'm up on the week overall, but I'm mostly like I'm I'm a little upset with myself, and I'm using this as a way to critique myself in a healthy way. But so like I intentionally choose to not LP on the weekends because for me, even the most low risk LP positions cause mental and emotional toll. And so like not LPing over the weekends gives me a time to like de-stress and like kind of like rejuvenate myself. And I saw that position and I was like, oh fuck it, I really want to do this because I think it's gonna rip. And then like I set up a pretty good LP. The coin did essentially exactly what I wanted. It went a little bit below my range. And then I like FOMO sold or like I freaking yeeted because I was like too stressed and I was nervous that I was going to hit a big IL, and then it ends up freaking like ripping back through my range, and I would have probably done like a 200% gainer overall. Yo, Hangout, why do you do just spot? And also, do you want to come up on stage right now? I think Yusuf, someone booted Yusuf. Yeah. So I was talking, I did a post. Crypto said, bro, I did the same thing on Fur. Um, I was talking about this yesterday. I did a post on Twitter, and I think the key is number one, like only invest position or like total capital amounts that you're comfortable losing, because then that's really going to help you prevent like panic sell. And then also if you only LP coins that you want to buy either and like anyways, then like say your position goes out of range and you're below your bottom end range, then you can just hold it and it's like, oh shit, like I was going to buy this anyway. You don't have to sell at a loss. And so like most losses occur not because you've made a bad decision. And again, like this some people just make bad trades all the time. But a lot of losses, at least in my experience, occur because I panic sell at like a high volatility bottom versus I've made a bad decision and like it never rebounds. And so if you can set things up so that you're less likely to panic sell at the bottom, and essentially most of our positions like we're seeking out those like highly volatile sell-offs. If you can set it up to avoid those panic sells, then you're going to do a lot better in the long run.
Hiya, how you doing?
What's up, Hangout? How are you doing?
Yeah, pretty good. Just got a weekend touching grass, so I missed all the crazy fun, unfortunately. But I did touch grass, so
Good for
it's
you.
pretty good ultimately. And now back into it. Yeah, it's good. Do you ask why only spot? Well,
Yeah,
not
please tell
only
me.
generally spot. For me, at least, it seems that we're taking pretty big risks providing liquidity for meme coins as it is. So anything I can do to de-risk it feels good. And by doing spot and picking up fees straight away, obviously, rather than on a bid curve, only picking a small amount up. And because how I've chosen to set it up, I really only go into coins that are trending upwards,
Hmm.
trying to catch the like the FOMO candle, like the God candle, that retracement that often comes. That's where I typically will put my position in, and I want to be catching fees all the way down, and then ideally, it then carries on its trend and goes back up. But that just gives me the maximum fees for my range, and then I try and make my range as long as I can, or as big as I can for whatever pool it is.
So you'd LP something like this range right here, or this would be like your
No, so
intentional
I would
spot.
try and take on this one wherever it does a big spike up. Like if I'm around and there at the exact time, I would try and take a particularly large green candle and open a single-sided sol down kind of as far as I can, accepting that quite often it'll carry on going up, but I haven't lost anything in that case. But then reasonably high percentage of the time, it will actually dip down into my range, give me some fees, and then carry on. And I feel quite comfortable with that because if it smashes down, A, it's broken a pretty established trend, so it doesn't happen that often. But B, I'm picking up tons of fees as it does so. So the only way I really make a loss is if it's a rug and really smashes down extremely quickly.
How wide of a range are you doing?
So on this one, green and red, or whatever it's called, um, I am doing so 3 zeros 15 down to 4 zeros 7 9, just because that was like 62 bin steps, I think, off the top of my head. Um, and I'm like, that's not the maximizing my return, but just for me, in terms of risk reward, it kind of works pretty well in minimizing any losses I make. Um, and what I'm trying to tell myself, and it's really hard when everyone's making X's all around you, is I don't need to make X's on X's. I just need to make 5, 10% a day. And if I can do that consistently, I'm free.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
me
Bro,
done. It's all I need to
that's
do.
listen, hang out. That's the
Yeah.
alpha. That's the alpha we need to hear, man. Like if you have 5K of capital, right, and you can make 10% a day, dude, that's a
That's five
lot of
hundred
money.
dollars a day, baby.
That's a lot of money every month. But that's
Yeah,
literally more than
almost
like
everyone in the
many.
world.
Yeah, exactly.
And the great thing is, if you can do that, you can grow one soul into lots of soul. And if you're consistent, you can put your wage into it. Like, not like suggesting anyone does that, but like I can, because if I'm consistent, I'm comfortable putting more and more of my fiat into it because I've got a track record. If I'm just
Hang out.
smashing massively up and then smashing massively down, I'm just in the casino. I know we put positive connotations behind the word degen, but I'm just a gambler and I can't put my life savings behind just being a gambler.
I think you're missing the whole point, Hangout. The real point is not that you can add more of your like fiat salary into crypto when you get consistent, but rather that your crypto gains will replace your fiat salary.
True. That is the ultimate objective. Correct. Yeah. But even on this, I don't know what it's called, but the red green one, I'm hitting 44% on my crazy high range at the moment,
Yep.
which like that's enough for me. And then I tune out everyone on Twitter showing their incredible, returns because I don't understand yet. And hey, if you guys do, I'm all ears. How do you get those kind of wins without the corresponding downside?
Are you talking about people doing like pump fund things where they like show
No, no,
10x's?
within DLMM, like you buy spot and then you scale out. So you do an ask, and then you make your 100% return because the token price is
So
doubled. But then you're
Yeah.
holding 100%
yeah,
risk, like from moment one. And I think it must be. I don't yet know how anyway to get that upside without a corresponding amount of downside. And I at least am kind of trying to limit that downside as much as possible.
yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, right? I mean, uh, it's really just like it more so depends on what groups you're in, what connections you have, what alpha you're getting than any other parameter, to be honest. From my experience, it all comes up to the group that you're in and also a bit like a bit how much blockchain do you actually understand, because I've actually experienced sometimes, right, like back that was like many months ago when I didn't like study at uni, where I did have some more free time. I was in the trenches with like many different groups, right? I was in many different groups and having fun there, trading meme coins. Like I literally found a coin, right? I was like, because I was like a big analyzer back then, right? I was like looking at transactions back and forth, trying to deduce valuable like conclusions from people buying and selling coins. And I literally could find a coin go from like 3 million to like 30 million within a day. just from having like analyzed, the transactions and having been in groups and in the Telegram and all that. Like it just requires a lot of work, I guess.
Well, when you
Y-
start a hedge fund, I'm all in, Yusuf. Let me know.
Like,
Yo.
I mean, the thing is, okay, so yeah, I mean, it's definitely not easy. I'll put it that way. Like, it's definitely, and sometimes you do lose as well. But I'm generally very conservative, so like, I've won more than I've lost.
I think for me, the best is using a two-pronged approach in that I DLMM high volume coins for the most part, regardless of their narrative. 90% of my DLMMs are one-sided sold. There's only like a rare occasion when I'll do a two-sided, and that's if I see a really high volume coin that I'm decently confident isn't a rug and I'm early. And so like if I catch it within hours 1 to 3, then I'll consider doing a two-sided LP. And that's how you get the 100%, 200%, 300% profit cards. You have to, that's the
Yeah,
only way you can generate that amount of profits, unless you fucking go God mode and you choose a range that lets you stay in range for 3 to 5 days.
yeah,
Um,
I agree. Or maybe you can like Pro is actually a very good example where you can actually make very big gains within a very short time, like period of time, on a coin falling down essentially, right? Because sometimes you will experience like coins making like say 2 million market cap coins making like over a 1 million volume in 5 minutes or maybe in 1 minute sometimes, right? And in such scenarios you can make a lot of gains if you choose obviously the right range and choose a 5% pool. Then you can make like very awesome. I've seen a few examples of that. I've never been able to make more than like 20% on a retrace, but sometimes I've seen people make like 100% like on retracements, which is
yeah, this
like
move right
insane to
here.
think about. Yeah, like
I
that
did
dip
pretty
though,
well on
like
Happy recently on a retracement. Happy worked beautifully, and I actually just exited it fairly recently, and that
yeah,
was
like
really good actually. That worked
yeah,
well.
that dip, Hayden, right? Like that
Yeah,
dip we're looking at there, right? If someone had chosen a 5%, like made a position, retracing
I
position, right?
did, dude. This I
Yeah,
set
but you
up this
closed it.
position. Yeah,
Yeah,
I freaking closed it
literally,
like
if
a little bitch.
I mean, if you made a 5% position on
I had it.
on that range there, right? You
I
would
had
have
it two
made,
sided, dude.
yeah,
I
that's
had like this. I had like this range covered. Oh my god. Okay, I gotta stop. It's okay.
yeah,
Namaste.
you would definitely
Namaste.
you would definitely have made like maybe 100%, maybe even
Yeah,
more, like
it
just
would have
on
been
those few like minutes.
an easy. No, I mean like I did great. I panic sold. I closed it early because I thought it might have been a rug.
Yeah,
Um,
dude, literally. I
that's
mean,
okay.
it happens all the time.
No, don't say that. Don't jinx me like that. It happens never again. That's how often it's gonna happen for me.
Yeah,
Um, like literally, like I'm never closing here again. There's one guy I was like reading on Twitter, and he said it's like so simple, but it's so accurate. Buy on red candles and sell on green candles. And it's like even in like the most ruggiest of rugs, you're gonna get people buying into a coin after a really big sell off. And so if you and it's like people like might think I'm freaking insane for saying this. If you only sell on green candles and only buy on red candles, you will probably do very well. And essentially, what that is going to do is it's going to force you to have the patience to wait for this pump. Because
yeah.
like
I
there's
guess the
always a movement. There's always another movement if you can
yeah,
handle waiting through that like really high volatile scary
I
time.
agree. I agree, and also agree on your argument being that like even rugs, right? If they dump 80% in one candle, you will see that small retracement, like 20%
Yeah.
retracement, right? The issue that comes up here is that you won't be able to utilize that unless you use like very, very high performing tools like Photon or some other products, right? Like you
Oh, I
can't
don't
do
know.
that with Jupiter. If you buy on Jupiter, say you buy that very like big dip, right? You will literally just like the slippage, like either you're going to get a failed transaction or you're going to have or you're going to buy the top of that retracement.
Yeah.
Um,
I do agree. I really like your strategy of using Photon with Meteora. The only thing is I don't want to create another wallet because all of my Met points are on this main wallet. And so I'm kind of like excluding myself from that tech. But it is really nice. Just the transaction speed that they incorporate is a really nice benefit.
Nah, yeah, I mean it just depends. Like, I mean, just like in terms of this concrete example, all right? Like because we're talking about like a kind of low market cap coin, and we're talking about high volatility within a very short period of time. In such a scenario, you should definitely use like if you want to utilize the very like high volatility price action, you need to use a high performing tool, unless like otherwise you won't be able to make profits on it.
I like it. Guys, I want to show y'all something I found earlier today. And Yusuf, I want to hear your opinion on this. So this is like the most insane crypto project. So first off, like just based off this, what do you think pump science is? I want to hear you guys' opinion. And then I'm gonna
Bro,
be like, did you look into
I
this?
looked at it. What?
Bro, it's so fucking interesting. So
Dude,
they're doing legit science with it though.
yeah, I mean, I looked at it. You sent me the link, right? I just joined the website and I was like, what is this? I don't even want to spend time on actually taking that
Did you
time
see
to.
did you see the how it worms?
I mean, yeah, I did click that link and then it took me to like a docs type of page, right? And I did read. Yeah. I clicked the read docs link. Yeah,
I
that
haven't
one.
looked at that, but so like, and I don't have any of this one, guys. This is not financial advice. I just think it's freaking incredible that they've set up these automated. So I'm pretty sure if I'm reading this correctly, what happens is people use like a pump fund metric to essentially nominate various compounds that they want to test. And then they have this kind of like automated C. elegans experiment. C. elegans is like a type of nematode. And so using the worm bot, it automatically creates an experiment where they expose C. elegans to these various compounds and they see if it will extend their life. And it's fucking psycho that someone built this. This has nothing to do with DLMing, by the way, guys. I just thought this was really, really interesting and wanted to
Yeah.
share it with y'all. So yeah, they literally like automatically run tests on these little freaking nematodes. It seems like I think they're actually doing the tests. They also have the fly bot, which is a similar thing where they're exposing flies to these compounds to see if they live longer. But it's just like it's so crazy. Like, what if like a real fucking medicine gets like originated or discovered because of this? Like, how insane would that be?
So your voice kind of lagged on like right before you asked the question, I think. Could you
Uh,
repeat what you said?
I was just saying that I think it's insane that people are using like pump fund metrics to explore science in whatever like vein that they're actually trying to do it. I think it's really cool.
I think it's quite interesting as well. It seems a bit like, I guess for me, it's a bit too complex to actually put time into understanding it. Um, like that's also one of the issues with products in general, right? Not necessarily crypto products, but just products in general. Make them simple, to be honest. Like
Mm.
if you want them to be adopted, mass adopted, make them simple because not everyone has time to like understand some complex type of
I
game
think
or whatever it is.
I think it's very simple. So I think people nominate various compounds that they want to test, and then if enough people buy into it via pump fund, they run an actual experiment exposing the C. elegans to that compound. And then I think they have like an AI system that automatically tracks how long those things live for, and then it determines if it actually extended the life or not.
Okay,
Um,
so just to be sure, like what does compound mean? Like in terms of this
a molecular
context.
compound, a molecular compound,
Okay, so
a specific molecule, I believe.
okay, yeah. That's why like it was a bit confusing to me.
Yeah, because there's already two coins. These are like the top two DeSci coins. And again, like guys, NFA do your own research, but there are two coins that are like really popping off. Yeah, so rifampicin. Let's see if it's actually a real rifampicin. So this is a real compound. It's a real drug. It's used to treat several
Yeah.
types of bacterial infection. And then there's another one too.
So you said they like what do they use these compounds for?
So in the vein of pump science or whatever that is, they're trying to determine if they'll extend life. And so I think, I mean, the integrity of the science behind this is very questionable. But I just think it's really interesting that so I'm pretty sure the way it works is that they have like essentially like the equivalent of like a CNC machine that automates these experiments. So they take like a little petri dish with these nematodes and automatically expose them to these compounds. And C. elegans has been studied for so long, they have really accurate data on how long these little worms are supposed to live. And so then after X number of hours, what their normal lifespan is, they determine like probably they have like a microscope that's like seeing how many of the worms are still alive, but they just see if they've lived longer. Um,
Mm,
and so again, like this isn't like S tier science. This isn't like the people who are doing like double blind placebo studies of like really like complex things. But like it is like at its core and most simplest, like they are like utilizing like essentially like some aspects of the scientific method. And I just think it's really interesting and kind of funny that like this has been connected to like so this meme coin is now bro, this is worth 70 freaking $1 million because people were like, fuck it, YOLO. Let's see if I'm guessing
that's
this is
weird to be honest.
yeah,
That it's
it's so
crazy.
insane.
Yeah,
Bro, the other one, Rifampin's worth 200 mil right now.
yeah, kind of crazy.
So these are metabolites produced in the gut after eating foods that contain egalitannins. Let's see if people are actually using it to extend life. So evidently this helps to rejuvenate mitochondria and extend lifespan. They might be onto something, guys. The freaking trenches are gonna be saving people's lives before you know it. Just watch out.
Anyways, bro, I'll have to I'll have to
Yusuf's
log
fading
off,
it
bro.
so hard.
I'm not fading it, man. I'm just
I'm messing with you.
confused.
I'm messing with you.
I'm literally just confused, bro. Like, I'll probably LP it. Like, you can, I mean, you don't need to understand 100% what you're
Correct.
LPing. Like, as long as it's a coin and it's making volume, you should be good to go.
You should check. Do you know about Kaito AI, Yusuf?
What?
Do you know about Kaito AI?
Nope.
They're an AI platform that tracks social activity, and they regularly post the crypto mind share, kind of like aggregating all of the social activity and determining which coins or which narratives are getting the most attention. And DSci, which is what people have coined this, is like really high up there in terms of social like buzz right now.
Oh, yeah, that sounds interesting actually. If you could share like me a link, maybe in the
I'll
chat
share it in
section.
chat,
Yeah,
and
just
then
share it in chat.
I'll DM you as well with it. But so if anyone has a connection to this team, give me the shout out because I want to see if we can get a free trial. Um, they charge $1,000 a month for their service, and
Bro.
it's completely worth it though. It's completely worth it.
Yeah.
Because they like you can predict price movement so effectively based on the amount of social activity that's going on. Um,
Mm,
so it's like I want to get some LP funds um to use this to get this going. But
yeah.
Word Yusuf, thank you for joining. Always a great guest. You've been
Thank you,
here
bro. Thank you very much.
consistently. Much love. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Of course, brother. You too. Bye bye, everyone. Have a good one. To you, hang out as well.
Ciao.
Bye bye.
See ya. Nice to see you.
See you.
Hang on, what do you want to do for another 45 minutes? I'm in Ecuador right now, and they have these power cuts that are going on because they ran out of water in their reservoirs. Kind of like unfortunate because it's like really disrupting their economy. But the majority of their power production comes from hydroelectric, and they
Hmm.
kind of mismanaged their water resources in conjunction with like a really serious drought that's hit them in the last year. And so we get power from 12 noon to 4 p.m. and then 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. So I'm just running on battery right now.
So it's a brilliant way of making you go touch grass.
Yes, I actually really like it. It's been so good for me because like I don't really know anyone here. I'm just like staying in an Airbnb, and if I didn't have this disconnect, I would probably just sit on crypto Twitter all day long and turn into a blob. And so this has forced me to segment my days in a way that I think is really productive for me, both from a trading perspective, but also for like my mental and emotional health.
Yeah, I find the overnight and weekend trades, I found trying to think about those, i.e. the ones I leave, really helpful because I've ended up trying to apply if I'm not comfortable leaving it 24 hours, then why am I in it?
Exactly.
And that has been interesting because then I've position sized. So for me, one of my big safety things is position sizing. I'll go in something super degen because I've got like, I don't know, 2% of my of my DLMing portfolio in it, and I just don't like care. It's fine. Um, and that's I've started using position sizing an awful lot as part of my risk control. And now, so I'm leaving. I've got a lot more DLMing over the weekend and overnight on a wider range of like more secure things like Moondang or Whiff or whatever, but much smaller position sizes than I would have done during the day. And then I can leave it like on this one here, Euro. I could put in like half a soul or something and just know that it might go to zero, but that's okay because it won't probably happen. But if it does, I've position size to accept the risk. And I found that really helpful actually, because I need to go touch grass. And if I sit here staring at the computer all day, I will just go mental, lose loads of money,
Yeah.
touch any grass.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people on CT who will say that like you have to be in the trenches all day long. And I think if you're trying to catch an early mover at 50 to $100,000 market cap, then arguably you do need that unless you have like an insane alpha group. But the thing is, like that kind of trading is so high risk. Um, Most people who attempt to do that are going to lose money, and everyone who attempts to do that will lose mental health. I guarantee it. Um, when I was first getting into crypto trading, I was like trying to day trade and stuff, and this was back when I didn't know shit about trading, and I was like so stressed that I was smoking weed all the time, and then I'd be high and trying to make these decisions, and my decision making would get so atrocious, and it's like they're like I think a lot of people get attracted into the crypto space because they see someone posting about how they did like a 10,000% gain on their position. And like it's
Yeah.
just it's a confirmation bias. Like you see that one post where they did that, and maybe that's not even like a real post because you can just like modify those screenshots. But then behind the scenes, they probably have 95 trades that are like break even or losses. And so like when you have something like DLMM with like I think I could teach anyone how to DLMM profitably in 48 to 72 hours. Like literally like 3 days of like hands-on, like just like giving them the basics. Like I I think that the bid ask retrace is the most consistent strategy. And so if you just like tell people, you teach them like how to avoid rugs, how to choose your ranges intelligently, and like how to essentially, I think like the last one is like choosing the right pools. You can take someone from being like a bad trader to a profitable deal member in literally like a matter of hours, depending on like how quickly they learn. But like this play, it's like a little wide, but like this play right here, just like doing a bid ask into this range, that's that's gonna profit like almost like probably honestly, I think if you were to like run the statistics, you probably like win these 9 out of 10 times.
One thing I would be really interested to try and figure out is right now we're in a super bullish environment. It's comparatively easy to make money because most things go up eventually if it's not a rug. Can we, I mean, clearly you can, but what are the strategies that are going to work when we get tippy toppy and when we start going into the bear? and mentally how to transition from where we are currently, which is pretty high risk tolerance because you're like, yeah, it's probably going to go back up. That's something I'm not very well prepared for at the moment. Um, and I don't think, unless I'm really conscious about it, that I'm going to mentally prepare for it until I start seeing, red in my portfolio, which I don't want to do. So I'm starting to already think about like, when do I decide to transition to a bear market suitable strategy? What is a bear market suitable strategy in DLMing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's an incredibly intelligent perspective. Uh, and so I think the just like the first bit of advice I would say is talk to some of the OGs in the Met Discord, because like there are guys who were DLMMing 6 to 12 months ago and they were doing so profitably to some extent. And so I think like one thing that is going to be relevant for a while is there will always be coins that have high relative attention. And so even if like volume were to decrease by 50 to 80%, you'll still have coins that are the runners, so to speak, for that time period. You'll just see less of them. But for me, honestly, like my plan is to DLM on the way up. And then I'm probably going to try and short the market with a percentage of my portfolio using like 3 to 5x leverage. So nothing really, really crazy. And then I'm just going to take a break for 3 to 6 months. Um, because like the problem with trying to DLMM when stuff is going into the bear market is you're going to have downward price action in combination with decreasing volume. And so
yeah.
in that case, you'll probably get hit with too much IL to offset your losses unless you're managing positions really, really, really well. Um,
Because I reckon at that point, a lot of people, and unless I'm really careful, myself included, will give back months
yeah.
worth of work in inverted commas. Um, and I
Yeah,
want to try and avoid that.
take a break, man. So I think before you got on, Yusuf was talking about setting price targets or like financial goals for this like bull market, however long it lasts for. But like for me, like I have my number in mind, and when I get there, what I'm probably gonna do is go 90% to stables, keep 10% or so of my bag that is just gonna be like fun money, and I'm completely okay if I burn through all of this, and it really it's just going to be something to like keep me mentally active. And then I'm just going to live off of stables for 6 to 12 months and then start re-entering once like we've had like really big sell-offs. um yeah, I think
Yeah.
another go
Sorry, go
ahead.
ahead.
No, I was gonna say like another thing is that like I think another big shift for me will be going from generating profit to generating content. Because like if you look at people on crypto Twitter who were grinding for the last 3 years from the end of the last bull market to now, they're now established KOLs. And just by having that market reach, that in itself is an income generation tool. And so I think for me, like what I want to do and what I wish I'd done from the last bull market was invest heavily in expanding my social reach so that like that can become another source of income when the markets dry up.
That sounds very sensible. I was thinking in terms of DLMMing specifically, I was going to start switching to USDC to USDT,
Mm,
BTC1 to BTC2, you know, um, trying to try and make an income. It might not be 10% a day, it might be 2% a day, but if I've done it half right, my portfolio is X'd from where it is today, hopefully. If the bull run is as good as we all hope it's going to be, and that's okay. And then just DCA into whatever coins, Sol that I think have got a 10-year future ahead of them. And that way I can kind of just chill out and focus on other things like
yeah. Or take a
content or your
vacation.
day job, take a vacation, or whatever it is. Move from meme coins to majors, basically.
Yeah. Honestly, I would be mindful of even doing of LPing even like BTC and stuff because I think it's totally realistic to see a 50 to 70% drawback on BTC when we go bear. Um,
Cool.
there's there are some people who have the hypothesis that this is going to be a super cycle and that we'll see a lesser drawdown. I think
Isn't that every cycle? Isn't that the thing that sucks you in, that gets you not to sell this time?
it's exactly correct. So one thing that is correct is the percent drawdown of BTC decreases over time, and that's
Sure.
because as market share increases, it becomes more difficult to sell it down as much. And so we'll probably go from like it was like 80% the first time to 70% to 60%. So maybe we'll see like a 50% drawdown this time, but that's still like let's say you like bag 100K, like you don't want to lose 50K just holding BTC on the way down. Ironically, you could potentially outperform IL. Let's say, because usually it takes like a year to go from your all-time high down to the bottom. It would be really interesting to see if you compounded your fees in like a BTC USD position. You just ran that every day and compounded the fees. If you could offset that IL over the course of the year, which I think arguably you could have a good chance of doing so if you manage your position really well.
Particularly if you have the conviction that it will go back up. Yeah, we're at 90,000, whatever it is right now. I haven't checked today, but it goes down to say 45. If you had a 50% position, you're doing fees all the way down to the bottom. Doesn't go much below that. As long as you hold for the belief it'll go back up to 90, is 90 the top forever? I don't think if we're in
God
this
no.
space we believe so. In which case, you just hold it till it goes back up, and then you've got the fees all the way down, all the way up,
Yeah.
and you're a happy bunny next time it goes back to 90K.
What a crazy profit card that would be. You show like the position being open for like 3 years.
But
that would that
why
would make
not?
some
I
waves.
guess.
No, it's not a
Like,
bad idea. It's not a bad idea. Like let's say let's just call 100K the top and you set up like a bid ask position going down to 50K and you just go down to the bottom and then when it gets to the bottom you flip it around and just sell it all the way back up. That would be gangster.
because then the bear is something that we're all really super excited about. Not that we're going to make loads of money in meme coins, but actually it's in BTC, and I can get 100% profit over a year on that bid ask flip, 50% drawdown and back up.
Yeah.
I need to believe that, right? So that when we get to, I mean, whatever that we think vaguely close to the top is, I make that decision, and I'm not like, oh, new meme coin, let's go into that.
Bro, hire a developer to create a smart contract for you that won't let you close the position. The only thing it can do is switch the liquidity around.
Yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Though the developer I end up hiring will probably drain me.
Write a back door in there. It'd be a bummer.
Yeah, but good days so far. Long may they continue.
So we've got a couple of Q and A's. Wisdom says I've been following but still struggling to understand. What are you referencing? Wisdom. Um, uh, yes, how to do a one-sided bid ask. I'll show you again just so you can see on screen. But so here you have the meme coin, and here you have Solana. These are the three different position shapes that you can use. Spot's flat, curve is like a pyramid in the center, and bid ask is a pyramid to either side. And so you just choose your bid ask, choose the amount of SOL you want to add. Oh, whoops, we have to add our range down here. And then this is how you do it. Usually I like to remove my top end range. Um, I do this because let's say we wanted to do a swap of bid ask. If we move all the way down here and we keep this range up here, when we're flipping our bid ask, we've now extended our capital over this entire range. And usually what you're expecting is price will move down to here and then maybe come halfway up or three-quarters the way back up. And so if you allocate your capital across this entire range, you're going to have decreased fee generation in this kind of like sweet spot where you're trying to, this is when you're generating your profit really. On the way down, you're accumulating fees, which you can sell for a profit. But what you really want is this move back up to put your position in profit. Look at Euro going for a new all-time high. We had wanted this to go down. I have a position in this myself going down, but it's the market said no, we want to go up.
I think it's managing FOMO. If you're doing geek scalping, then you just need to manage the FOMO that you're going to miss out on quite a few of the coins, particularly because to try and de-risk it, I try and go in coins that are pretty strongly going upwards.
The thing is, there's so many like when I was like, I'm saying like when I was a young deal member was like 3 weeks ago, but I would at first get stressed about setting a one-sided position underneath and it not hitting my range. But the thing is, like, there's so many plays every day that I would much rather miss some because I'm being conservative and protect my capital than hit everything, but also take L's because I was being too aggressive.
I've kind of written that on my wall and my mirror and above my bed. Consistency is key. Consistency
Yeah.
is key.
Are you into affirmations, Hangout?
Yes, I think your beliefs can like create your perception, and perception is reality.
Yeah.
So affirmations are kind of linked to beliefs, and so yeah, you can change your reality based on what you tell yourself.
I agree completely. This is interesting. I think this is probably a rug. Like this went from 0 to 7 million in 30 minutes. Anytime I see price moving up this aggressively right off the bat, it makes me think it's a rug. Because like unless this is like a really legit project that launched with a bunch of like pre-existing hype, there's no reason for this many people to buy the coin right off the bat. And so a lot of this volume is probably coming from the team or insiders who are just trying to entice people into the coin.
I found the very best way for me to avoid rugs was just on 20-hour coins. If it had been around for 20 hours, that got rid of over 90% of the coins that I ended up getting rugged on,
Yep.
which I know you don't get the crazy 999% return and that's a thrill and blah, blah, blah. But again, I keep reminding myself consistency is key. If I want to go to the casino and have a gamble, cool. But I just don't do coins under about 16, 17. My target is 20 hours. And that's really helped actually at avoiding rugs.
So let's do some really basic math. So what do you think you're doing per day on average in terms of percent gain, Hangout?
I'd say 5%. I target 10, but obviously I have days that aren't as good. So probably 5% a day.
So if you start with $1,000 and you're averaging 5% a day, and we're assuming we have 90 days of like really crazy price action, what do you think? What do you think the total compounded, like the total like amount will be? It's gonna be
Um,
fucking insane.
that's going to be huge. I don't know,
I'm guessing like
like
7 million.
something ridiculous.
Oh,
80 grand.
that's a lot less than I thought it would be. Let's say we're gonna bump you up to 7%. So I believe in you, Hangout. I think you can do 7% a day on average. And this is also like assuming you just recompound everything and just go balls to the wall. But you have 441,000. Yeah, so like that's why DLMs are so freaking sweet. You don't need to get a 10x. You just need like 0.1x, 0.2x, and you
The
need
reason
consistency.
I haven't achieved that is time in the market so that you actually get that 7%, but also because certainly up until reasonably recently, I'm taking silly losses. I'm getting FOMO'd into something that I've seen someone else get a lovely X on, and I just catch it beautifully for it to rug. Or, the volumes go, or like it's gone down and I get out because it's gone out at the bottom of my range. I wait a little bit, it's still going down. I get out, and then it booms back up. It's. I think I would do much better. As a DLMer, my focus is trying to and avoiding the losses rather than maximizing the gains because the gains are kind of lying there on the table. It's just I then go throw them off into the ether with a silly decision too often.
Yeah, the biggest positive change in my profitability has been mitigating big losses. Um, as you were saying, it's not hard to generate profits, but it's hard to accumulate profits over time if you take 50 to 70% L's. And so for me, I've also done the same thing where I prohibit myself from LPing very new coins unless like I'm infinitely bullish on it. And then also I've been implementing like a pretty like disciplined 20% stop loss. So like no matter what, if I'm at a minus 20%, I close it. And because like I would have positions where I would set up like a wide LP, it'd go out the bottom of my range, and I'm like, oh, it has to pump back up, it has to pump back up. And my minus
Yeah.
10 goes to minus 20 to minus 30 to minus 40, so on and so forth. And so by being really disciplined with stop losses, that's prevented any big L's. And then also by removing the high risk coins, which, as you said, are the ones that are in their first 24 hours, you can prevent the majority of your large losses. Um, I also think so. I know what you're saying about using spot to increase fee generation. I think in short-term positions, when you're trying to catch that little bounce in and out, you're going to outperform bid ask unless you're really like hyperactively managing the bid ask and you can flip it perfectly. But for me, doing a bid ask at like when I was first doing this, I'd go minus 10 to minus 40, trying to catch that short-term price action from like 0 to 100 to 200 minutes after an all-time high. But you have increased downside risk because on some coins they can just bust through that minus 50% range, go all the way
Mm,
down. And so for me, doing a bid ask of minus 10 to minus 70, and then what I'll do is 80% will be bid ask and 20% will be spot. So I have a bit more spot in the top end range. I don't always do really great with them, but I almost never lose. So
mm,
a decent position will stay in my top end range, and I'll only utilize 20 to 30% of my capital, but I'm so heavily protected from big drawdowns that I can hold it with like almost no stress. Um, I'll show you an example. I was
yeah.
LPing Ava, and so this is one where I did a really wide range. I did like all the way down to here. And this is like my best performer in the last week, but literally I held it all the way throughout this price range. And so I got
Lovely.
yeah, almost 3 days of fee generation at like 20 to 30% a day. And so
And
this
what kind of volume are you looking at? Because I'm trying to go for coins on about 100K for an hour.
so I want to see coins that are doing $1 million in the 5 minute. if
Wow.
if
Okay.
if it's doing 100K an hour, I wouldn't touch it. So I wouldn't LP this right now. I actually well, there's part of me that wants to LP this because I'm really bullish on Ava long term, and I want to accumulate as it sells off. But if like I'm just like entering into a coin, I don't want to touch anything that's less than 100K on the 5 minutes, and I would rather it be 300K or more on the 5 minute. Um, yeah,
Okay.
I think a hundred. You said 100K per hour.
Yeah, as a minimum, is what I've been going on. But you're saying, yeah, and that makes sense. What you're saying makes complete sense.
I think that's far too low. Just like you have to be more proactive about choosing your coins. But this is a good example of a coin that would I'd be really happy to LP. And honestly, so I have a position open in this and I need to rebalance it because I was trying to catch a downward movement, but like $1 million in the last 5 minutes. This is actually let me just pull up. I've got a little bit of battery life left on my laptop. I'm just gonna rebalance my position. I'll show you guys what my initial like thesis was, and I think like maybe I got like 0.2 soul or something, with a little bit of motion in range. But I'm just going to recreate my position, because obviously the market really wants to buy this coin.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I got like 0.6 soul. It's gonna be more because these coins are now worth more. But so you see, if you can see here, I've got a bit of a spot floor, and then I
Yeah.
have my bid ask on top. Um, wow, this coin's going fucking psycho. So this is one like I might feel a little bit more comfortable being aggressive on just because of how bullish the chart is. But even so,
Yeah.
like I've just gotten to the point where like I don't want to incur the emotional stress. And so if I put my bottom at minus 40, even though it's not likely to occur, I could still get wrecked by a really big sell-off. And so
Yeah.
I'm going to use this as my effective support. And so I'll probably go from here, from like 8.4 down to 2.8. Maybe I'll go like 3.2. Um, I had gone a little bit wider, or not as wide here. I found that going minus 10% is really good. Um, because in most cases that prevents you from uh like getting IL, because let's say this is our all-time high. We'll see a secondary movement, but a lot of times they don't go all the way back up. This is kind of like a double top formation. This right here is the true all-time high, and this is essentially the same, but this is like our secondary movement of people essentially. This is people giving other people free money as exit liquidity in most cases. Um, and so I think
And
I might.
you go 10% down from the current all-time high, whatever the price is, to just
Correct.
avoid that kind of, spike and buying at a much higher level. Is that right?
Well, it's mainly because like even though this time we've retraced all the way back up to our all-time high, usually what I see is this movement. And so by taking my initial like top end range a little bit lower, I protect myself from IL if we only come back up to here. And so
Mm.
meme coins usually express themselves in wave formations. And so you'll see a sell-off followed by buyback, sell-off by buyback. And so if it really it's a fractal. So like you see this movement here, a secondary wave here, and then the tertiary wave here. And what's really interesting is they actually expand in the like the total like velocity, or like the not necessarily the velocity but the volume. So we have like a small one here, and then a slightly larger one here, and then a slightly larger one. And so this is the expansionary phase of the meme coin as it's gaining more and more attention. Um, and now we're in the contractive phase. Most likely, this could go higher, but most likely. But what's really interesting is if we were to zoom out a bunch, is see if we can make this chart look a little nicer. So this movement could actually be the first portion of this secondary wave, which this is only like determined by the market. Who knows if the market wants to uh, accommodate this secondary movement? But all of these movements are just the same formations occurring time and time again. And our
Mm.
job as traders is to predict, does this coin, does the narrative or the lore behind this coin uh, make it worthy of this secondary or this new larger wave pattern, which would bring it to like a billion in market cap.
Yeah, I certainly don't rate my ability to forecast the future on that stuff.
There's no need. There's no need if you're just like you're LPing. LPing is
Yeah.
great because you don't have to predict the future. You can just look at the past. Are people buying this coin really aggressively? And if so, that means 10 minutes from now, there's still going to be a similar amount of people buying. Um, so that's why LPing is really great. But yes, so like I wanted to go a little bit wider. Oh, it's because I'm gonna change pools. Um, give myself the range I really want. And then literally I'll just hold this position for 24 hours probably. Unless like if I get like a really good movement and I'm like, fuck it, that's enough profit for me, I'll close it early. But by doing a really wide range, I don't have to manage it as much. And I can also like just like I can go to sleep with this and not have to stress about it.
I
Let me
think you're
make
right. I
sure.
think it's that I'm really love to hear it because it's kind of fits into what I was thinking about. If you're not happy to leave it overnight, you probably shouldn't be in it. unless
Yeah.
you're just having a flutter on the tables, in which case, fine. It keeps you occupied during your coffee break. Um, but for material money, yeah, this makes a lot of sense.
So this is a 400 bin step pool, which is like humongous, but it gives me the effective range in a single position. And if this retraces 70%, like the reason I can do this with high consistency is because I know right now that there are people who are buying the heck out of this coin. So the volume's down a lot right now, but a few minutes ago, it was at 1 million in the last 5 minutes. And essentially, it's essentially half buying and half selling because price was stagnant. So that means in 5 minutes, people bought $500,000 worth of this coin at a market cap of 200 million. And so if the market cap is 100 million, I'm almost 100% certain that there are going to be people who want to buy it at 100 million. And so we'll get kind of like similar price action. Or at least there'll be people who are buying at that discount who will then essentially pump back into my range or pump it up through my range again.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm also trying not to get attached. Like Happy was a great coin for me, and I've just ended my love affair with Happy, and now I'm moving
Yeah,
on
yeah,
because when I get emotionally attached to something, it ends up rugging, well, not rugging,
yeah,
but like going down, and I end up holding it too long because I love it and it's going to go back up, and it doesn't care that I love it. It just carries on going down.
yes.
Um,
That's a
so
really important lesson to learn. I've done it myself many, many times. I noticed when I was in the last bull market and I was doing like traditional DeFi. And when I would LP coins that had really high APRs, I developed emotional sentiment because they were generating lots of profit, which I was using to like cover my living expenses. And so I would hold on to that position for longer than I should because I had a sentimental value attached to it. Um,
yeah,
and so, yeah, it's really important to disconnect ourselves emotionally from these decisions because in more scenarios than less, your emotions are going to mislead you when it comes to crypto trading.
the last cycle I was deeply into the launchpad kind of
Mm.
space, particularly Bluezilla and their pads that they had. And I rode that all the way up, made a fortune, and as it went down, I mean, literally 90% down until I was like, oh, I should sell this because like I was so attached. This was my pension.
Yeah.
And then I had people in the group, and it was the other thing, the community. We'd become like, let's drink the Kool-Aid. That sounds like a good idea. And in one token launch, we would make as much money as we'd put into the pad. So how could you sell your tokens in that launch pad when you were making so much money? And then it would drop another 30%. And in the
Yep.
next launch, make as much. But how could you kill the golden goose? Well, now I realize goose is too expensive. You get rid of it. But
Yes.
I drunk the Kool-Aid of launch pads and yeah, made a fortune, lost a fortune. Welcome to crypto.
Yeah,
Don't
I
want to do
think
it again.
that's kind of like a coming to age experience in crypto because it will happen to everyone when they're just learning. Um,
Yeah.
but I'm glad you've hopefully learned that lesson and will avoid riding the bus once more.
Basically being a mercenary, what's it? And you're not in it for the vibes. Or like WMM, love their memes, love it. Like really fun hanging out on Twitter, looking at the weird medieval memes. Just actually like drop it, forget about it, just look at the chart. Chart's not so good, move on. Um, because otherwise I will get sucked in and I'll hold a bag of spot because I like the memes, but I still get to use the memes. Like I'm a mercenary. What's it? I don't care. Like I'm in it for the money.
I'm such a WMM fanboy. I freaking love that that project.
It is
But
cool.
thank you for reminding me to not be attached to it emotionally. All right,
Indeed.
so I need to close this call because my laptop battery is about to die, and I want to have some battery in case price goes crazy on any of these coins I'm LPing. But Hangout, big shout out. Thank you for joining today. Everyone who joined the LP Jam today, thank you so much. I hope you all got a lot of benefit from this today. If you have any like comments or if you have any feedback, just like drop us a message on Twitter. You can just go to Meteor Ag on Twitter and you can find the post where this recording is and just share your thoughts there. Once again, big shout out to everyone who joined. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Cheers. Bye.